As entertainment editor and film critic for AARP magazine, our next guest was front and center when it came to rubbing elbows with movie stars in Hollywood. And as if that's not fascinating enough, he's also a writer for National Geographic, the Saturday Evening Post, and for a wild decade in the 80s, the National Enquirer.
That's a resume. That's a resume. Today, his subject matter is far more interesting, in our opinion, than Hollywood or the 103-year-old two-headed bride engaged to Elvis. Psh. Bill Newcott is a national award-winning writer for Delaware Beach magazine. Thank you so much for joining us.
I wrote that story about
You
the
did
bride.
write that
Yes,
story?
yes, yeah. It was all true.
It's all
absolutely
true.
Yeah.
Moving swiftly along.
Yeah.
We want to talk about your book.
Yes.
But first, let me ask you, how did you get into writing?
Oh, I just always was a writer. I started writing when I was in, I wrote a series of novels when I was in 4th grade that I would pass among the other kids in my class. And Sister Alice Joseph would come over and kick me occasionally. She'd say, "Pay attention, I have classes here." And I'd say, "But I have a deadline." People are waiting on Friday, they're waiting for the next installment of the book. So.
Oh my goodness.
Even then, you knew the importance of the deadline.
Yes, I knew that. And that's what my editors will tell you. Do keep my deadlines.
So National Geographic, you focused on science?
I was space science editor at National Geographic, but I did a lot of stories. I did a story about the Tower of London. I lived in the Tower of London for a month with the Yeoman Warders, and on space, when John Glenn went back into space on the space shuttle, I went to Houston and trained with him for a day.
Oh my
We practiced escaping from a crashing space shuttle, which went well in a building, but I have a feeling in real life.
No.
With that kind of experience, I got to imagine that working at National Enquirer was like a completely different world.
Well, that was early in my career, although 10 years. I was a newspaperman in LA I was 22 in LA for 4 years, and then I got hired by the Enquirer, and I was down there in Florida for 10 years.
So you created, with AARP, Movies for Grown-Ups.
I did.
Tell us about that.
It's starting in 2002. It was an awards ceremony for films that focused on the 50-plus audience. And we were just trying to do movie reviews for the magazine. We realized we couldn't get enough movies that we felt were really for our audience, so we decided, well, we got to seek them out. Why don't we if we have to seek them out, our audience is never going to find them if we don't do it. So let's seek them out and create an awards. And in 4 years, we were having an awards in Bel Air, in Hollywood, and then a few years later at the Four Seasons Hotel, and it's still going on. Actually, now I'm not with it anymore, but these days it's every February. The last show of great performances on PBS in February is my awards.
Wow.
What brought you to Delaware?
I decided I'd wanted to be a freelance. I was a paycheck. I called myself a paycheck writer my whole life because I would just, was working in an office.
Right.
And I decided I'll be a freelancer now because I could make that work. So my wife said, "Let's move to Delaware." And I said, "Okay, we'll move to Delaware," and moved to Lewis. And I thought that would be my jumping off point for going to all these other places. Yes, I know I'm 2.5 hours from the nearest major airport, which was I didn't think of that when we thought about the location, but we did anyway. But I found out the most fascinating stories I've written in the past 4 or 5 years have been, lo and behold, right there in coastal Delaware.
And hence the book?
And hence the book, All the Right Wrong Turns.
So tell us about it.
All the right wrong turns.
Well, I must say, when I came to Delaware, the editor of Delaware Beach Life magazine, Terry Plowman, got wind of me. There was a professional writer here. There's a writer in the community. We must get that man to write for us. And so he invited me to start writing for him. And so I got paid for these stories before you see them in the book, which is always a plus for a writer to get paid twice for a story. And so this is actually a collection of my best stuff, I think, from the past 2 or 3 years. And so we've won some awards for these stories, and it's I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
So have you got something cooking for the future?
I keep writing.
Keep writing.
That's the life of the freelance writer. I go on assignment for National Geographic every month or so, and
Really?
I'm writing for the Saturday Evening Post. I'm the film critic for the Saturday Evening Post, so I have reviews every Friday, and I also write for the magazine, and so it's fun. I tell you what, I've as much fun as the Enquirer and Geographic and AARP were living here on Delmarva and writing for whatever my heart's content is nothing like it. It's just fantastic.
Nothing like the Delmarva life.
No, there's not.
Hey.
There's nothing like it. You can use that.
Author,
I like that, by the way.
you like that?
That was great. That was awesome.
Author Bill Newcott, thank you so much. I wish we had more time to spend with you.
No kidding. Yes.
Anytime.
Yes, it would be great. Wish we did.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Oh, sorry. So sometimes people become part of our lives in a very meaningful way. And when they retire, we like to show our appreciation for them. So ahead on Delmarva Live, we are going to meet one of those people and hear from the people whose lives she blessed.
And later, the heat is covering all of Delmarva in a fog of funk, but the cool sounds of jazz are sweeping away the blues in one Delmarva town. We'll explain Delmarva Live. We'll be right back.